we're in this single leg X position. There's kind of a couple of choices. If Mike starts to break, say, the grip here and his head comes forward, this is a really good time for me to do, like, say, forward off balances. Nearly using like a butterfly hook. So if we go back to that one more time. Obviously, if he's staying upright and his head is kind of over his hip, so if you just kind of stay there without breaking the grip, and he's like, say, maybe if he doesn't break the grip, but he's trying to break the grip, obviously I can go backward off balances, but if we kind of stand back up. If he does manage to commit to breaking the grip and he brings his head forward, I'm going to take an overhook grip, block the knee, my right foot goes to the floor, my left foot kind of goes on his tailbone, and I kick, send him over to my left shoulder. Once we get weight on his hands, what we're going to do is go from this kind of single leg X position to regular X guard. Alright, so we'll go into regular X guard, then we're going to frame on the armpit to keep him, like, say, at 90, then I'm going to, like, say, upgrade to reverse X. So basically when we're in this position, knees are flared, I'm pulling my right foot towards me and pushing my left foot away, so that's my top leg. I'm going to bring my right leg over towards my eyes here, alright, so my left heel basically drags his knee below my knee. Once this happens, we cross our feet and then we get him down to his hip. Alright, so we go again on that. So again, starting in a single leg X. Again, so if Mike stays upright, there's a chance here I could knock him backwards and sweep him. Alright, so a lot of time when people are kind of separating the single leg X, they bring their kind of head forward. Alright, and again, if his head doesn't go forward, just kind of knock him backwards. So if you find that your partner's starting to break the grips, so when my foot starts to get cleared off his hip, you can see what happens with my hands. My right hand goes to here, my left hand goes to his knee. So I take like an overhook grip with my right hand. My right foot then goes to the floor. I kick my left leg towards my left shoulder. Now what we do is we turn in to regular X guard. I'm blocking on the armpit here. Alright, so we're keeping this kind of 90 degrees to stop him from getting chest to chest. And all we do is basically put, say, your top leg, which is the right leg here, on bottom. And we just kind of switch them around. Knees are kind of opened up. I'm pushing away with the top leg and pulling towards me with the bottom leg. And I'm going to look to bring my right foot over towards the right hand side of my head here. So when we get into this position, you can see my legs are nearly like an 11. The inside leg, so my heel basically drags his knee below my knee line. Once this happens, we cross our feet and then we sit him down to my hip. We land into the saddle. Right, let's say I break him down, say to his hands here. So I managed to get into reverse X. My legs don't change, as in, like, say, I'm not taking one leg out, or I'm not, you know, putting a leg in a different position. Basically, I'm looking to draw an arc with both legs, and I'm bringing my legs over towards the right hand side of my head. Right, you can see my legs are kind of like nearly at 90 here. So all I can do is lift, and then they turn like nearly into like an 11. All right, so the goal is basically, that's his knee, so you can see his knee here, and my left knee to my right knee is the knee line. I want to get his knee below my knee line. All right, the way we do this is legs are straight, the inside leg drags here. Now his knee is below my knee line. All I do is basically just cross my feet. Once I cross my feet, I kick my feet to the floor, that lifts my head up, and now he's down on his hip. So again, so we just kind of start in this X guard position. So active feet, so pushing away with the top leg, pulling with the bottom leg, flaring your knees. All right, so all I do, the first thing I do is, it's very subtle, I just lift the foot off the floor. All right, once the foot comes off the floor, mainly my right leg is drawing this arc. So I'm bringing this leg towards my right side here. There's the 11 that we spoke about. All right, this knee here is really important. All right, so if my knee goes inside, we're not gonna, all right, if you just stay there for a sec, we're not gonna get saddle, we'll get knee bar, which is gonna work next. All right, so if you want the saddle position, this knee has to be out. So don't turn this knee inside, all right, because if you land, you kind of lose the knee line and it won't be as good, all right? So again, legs don't change position. Right leg pulls his leg towards me here. Now we kind of have this 11, all right? This heel drags his knee below my knee line, all right? This knee stays out, not inwards. We cross our feet when that knee goes below our knee line, and then we chop to get him to his hip, and that gets our head up. All right, so let's give that a shot. So 3, 2, 1. Just before we go on to the next piece, so I'll just borrow the mic again. The reason why, we'll kind of go from the start. So like say we're in single leg X, his head is forward, he strips the grip, we go forward off balance. You can obviously go like straight to reverse X guard. But one of the reasons why I like to go to regular X is like, I can just move that leg away from like say outside of his hip, and the further that kind of foot goes outside of his hip, the lighter that leg is going to be and the easier it's going to be to enter into the saddle. Whereas if you look at, like, say, if Mike kind of keeps his foot roughly directly under his hip here, you know, anywhere that kind of feels his foot strong for him, this is going to be harder to lift because there's a lot more kind of weight on it, obviously. If I use an X guard, I can push and then I can upgrade to reverse X and that leg becomes a lot lighter. So that's kind of like a little detail if you find that someone has a heavy kind of base and you just can't get that leg up off the ground. So we'll just kind of work the finish from here now, right? So we said that when we get into this position, we're going to bring the leg over towards our right shoulder or right side of our head. The left leg drags to get his knee below our knee line. We cross our feet and then we sit down to a hip here. All right, so a really good technique or finish that we can work from here is basically the straight footlock. So what we're going to do is we're going to go foot to foot. So my right foot goes on top of my left foot. There's kind of a couple of benefits to this. So one is if he tries to get his hips up off the floor and tries to stack me, so he tries to come up here and then free his knee line this way, I can use my feet to kind of leg press and get him back down on the hip. So I let him up and then broke him down. But if he tries it again, I can kind of keep him down by extending my right leg here. And the second main reason why I like to use this is you can get a really nice straight footlock, which is legal gi and no gi, all belt colours. All right, so what we're basically going to do is we take the slack out of the leg, so we create tension by pulling the leg forward here. I'm going to do the same with my own legs by extending, and then what I do is I bring my elbow inside here. I go 12-6 with my elbows. There's kind of a couple of different grips you can take. I'm just going to go with, like, say, hand-to-hand kind of grip here. You can go with, like, say, a figure 4 grip if you want, so it's really up to you. And then basically my goal here is to bring my shoulder back, put weight on the foot by putting my left pec kind of down towards the floor, and then I go along again and extend my legs to get the tap. All right, so it's a super tight finish. So again, our hand position, same as most straight footlocks we do, we want to try to get the blade down to the Achilles here. All right, we're creating tension in our own legs, taking the slack out of his leg and creating tension here. I loop my elbow inside. I go 12-6 here. My legs are constantly kind of pressuring towards his hips. My right shoulder goes back. My left pec goes down to the floor, and then I look over my right shoulder again to get the tap. All right, so. We're here, we managed to break, say, Mike down to his hands, monitoring this armpit here to keep this kind of 90 degrees. I hook the legs, we get him into this, we use our reverse X basically to get him into the saddle position. And on our last technique, we work the straight footlock, right? And what we said is if you kind of go back to your hands there, sorry. So if my knee is out, this is going to give you saddle. If my knee goes inside, this allows me to go into knee bars. All right, so we're going to do the exact same entries, we're just going to change our knee position. So instead of our reaping leg turning towards his head, we're going to have our reaping leg turning towards his foot. All right, so I'll kind of show you the entry and then we'll break it down. So it's very similar to what we did. So Mike's on his hands. All I'm basically going to do is bring this leg towards me and I adjust my position here. Once I adjust my position, we get a knee bar. All right, so when we land, I'm going to put weight on top of the foot here. You can see I'm hugging it. I grip with the hand on the heel. I'm getting a strong bite with my heels kind of into his lower back, and then all I do is move my head away from his body and extend his leg to get the tap. All right, so we'll go again. So basically we lift, and then while we have this leg in the air, I'm just going to line myself up with his body and get this knee inside. All right, once we land, I land on my hip and I put my head on top of his foot here. I'm hugging his leg so it's hard for him to turn his knee. I use the second hand to grab his heel and I pull his heel towards me. I use my heels kind of connect to his lower back and I get a good bite, so I start digging in. All I basically do is move my head and my back away to extend his leg to get the tap. All right, so we'll go one more time. So again, so we lift, and the only adjustment we do here is basically we turn to our right side here. He falls into it, land into our knee bar, head goes on top of the foot, we hug the leg, we grip the heel, we rotate the heel in towards us, we get a good bite on the lower back, and then I move my head and my back away from his body and we extend his leg to get the finish. So when we're doing our entry, on the saddle entry, basically we set like 90 degrees to our training partner here. What we're really looking to do is, I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit, but you can see that my spine is basically 90 degrees to his. When I turn my knees and hips inside, I'm nearly lining up our spines. Makes sense? So I'm kind of exaggerating this a little bit, but we're nearly like in a north-south position. And then when we land, you can see our spines are kind of like lined up, compared to where you land in saddle, we're like at 90 to our training partner. So what you do is, when you lift that leg with your reverse X, all I do is try to get my head as close as I can to this foot here. You can grab this leg. Alright, so you can either bring your head to the foot or bring the foot to you. When we land, we stay on our side. My knee is turned inwards. Outside gives a saddle, inside gives us this knee bar. I'm trapping this top leg with my arm because, you know, obviously most of the resistance is going to come with this top leg here, where he's going to be kicking the hamstring and everything else. The pressure I'm kind of generating with my head is my head goes on the knuckle of his foot, so I'm pushing his foot down like I'm trying to expose his heel. And then my hand kind of like assists with that, so I pull the heel towards me here. So that gives me, like, say, a good angle on his knee to get the knee bar. So if Mike tries to wiggle his leg free, you can see it's pretty hard. The last little detail we're going to do before the finish is we kind of move our legs out. You see now I'm going to use my calves and my heels to get to his lower back, and then we can extend our bodies to get the finish. Alright, so let's think about those little details for the last piece, right? So 3, 2, 1.